Hi everyone, welcome to True Crime Chat with Mommy Ramblings. Hope you're all doing well. And I want to tell you about a new development in a case that we covered in one of our recent lives. Dr. Potter and her husband Robin were shot and left for dead outside the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus on March 31st. Dr. Potter was still alive when they were discovered, but passed away shortly after being transported to the hospital. Her husband, Robin, was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, at the time we covered this case, there were two suspects arrested, and one was said to be known to them, but no further details were known at that time. And now we have some new details. It appears that social distancing was the reason for this horrific tragedy. Before we get into the details, I would like to welcome anyone joining us for the first time and encourage you to please click the subscribe button in the lower corner of this video along with the notifications bell so you'll be notified when we upload a new video or go live, which we do almost every evening. If you are new, you have entered the best community on YouTube, and we offer more than just true crime because, hey, let's face it, you need more than that, especially during these times. So stay home with us, and we will bring you a variety of content, including craft tutorials, live craft panels where you can actually participate with us on screen, call-in shows, recipe tutorials, shopping hauls, original short films, cute puppy and dog videos, and so much more. Now, without further ado, let's dive into these details. Okay, and as we talked about during our live, it was believed to be that one of the suspects was known to the couple. And yes, that is indeed the case, because one of the two suspects in this brutal double murder had been living in their home until days before this tragedy. So Khari Sanford, 18, is the male that was known to be living in the house, apparently had been dating their daughter, and the other male that was arrested, Elijah LaRue, also 18, was charged as an accomplice in this suspected double homicide. So let's look at what happened, because it's said to be the result of the social distancing that's in place and the daughter and the boyfriend not, wanting to abide by that. So let's see what we've got going on here. So Dr. Beth Potter and her husband, Robin Khari, were shot execution style in the back of the head. Apparently, they were shot around 11 p.m. on March 30th, and they were found in the early morning hours, during the early morning hours of March 31st by a jogger. It was said that at the time emergency crews arrived, that Robin was deceased and pronounced dead at the scene, but Beth Potter was still alive barely, but then was later pronounced dead at the hospital. So we're going to go into the new details of this, because apparently, and as I will go into more details, because there was a Zoom hearing where a lot of details came out, and I'm going to tell you about them because I did view that Zoom hearing, that they were taken and then shot where they were found, outside the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus in that ditch. There were 357 casings there. There were multiple shots fired at close range. It was a very, very brutal, well, I don't know how anything like this could be, not be described as brutal, but extremely brutal. It was close range with Robin. The shooter was said to be 1, 2, 3 feet at the most from him. So, yeah. And what happened is surveillance footage showed that a minivan matching the description of Robin Khari's minivan, which had been in the possession of the couple's daughter, was seen in this path of their home and then outside this campus. There were also pings from the accomplice, LaRue's cell phone, suggested that like he was circling the house and then he was around this area where they were found. So we're going to get into a little more of it when I bring you over there and talk about the hearing. And if I bring you over there, just pull up the Zoom screen and I will tell you what happened during that hearing. Appears that now that Khari Sanford had been dating the couple's daughter, Miriam, and had been staying in their home with her. But in the days before this brutal slaying, the parents rented an Airbnb for the young couple to stay in because they were very concerned the couple was not practicing social distancing guidelines. And with this virus, Dr. Potter was very concerned because she was taking medication that put her at a higher risk for developing the virus and serious complications from it. We have that Khari Sanford and their daughter Miriam apparently moved out shortly before the murders. A friend of Beth Potter's told police that she had spoken to Beth on the phone just a few hours before the attack, and Beth said that her daughter, told her, "You don't talk to me and you don't care about me," before she moved out of the home. Miriam, the daughter, reportedly told police that both she and Sanford remained in their apartment the entire night that her parents were found dead. Investigators conducted several interviews that led them to arrest and charge Khari Sanford, the boyfriend of the couple's adopted daughter, and Sanford's friend, Aliha LaRue, with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Sanford and LaRue made their court appearance on Tuesday via Zoom video conference, and a plea was not entered for the felony charges. When police found LaRue, he told them he was friends and classmates with Khari and Miriam Potter Khari. LaRue allegedly told police that before schools were closed due to the pandemic, he had overheard Khari Sanford and Miriam talking in a ceramics class about getting money from her parents who were rich, according to this criminal complaint that's out. Khari allegedly identified LaRue as an accomplice who in turn gave police permission to analyze his cell phone activity, and that's how all of this started to come together. When police questioned Miriam about the night her parents were murdered, she told them that she had stayed at that rental property, that Airbnb, with Khari Sanford, and that she had fallen asleep after watching a movie. But the traffic cameras, as the prosecution will point out, captured her parents' van driving by the crime scene, and a forensic search of Miriam's cell phone showed that she was not with Khari Sanford at the time. Miriam told police allegedly that she loved her boyfriend and was extremely loyal to him. The Dane County prosecutors did not respond when asked whether Miriam was implicated in her parents' death, but then since then, at the hearing, as you will hear, they ask for, no contact when they're talking about the alleged murderer, Khari, that he have no contact with the victim's family, including Miriam. So it would appear that she is not being implicated in any way in her parents' death, since she was clearly home with her cell phone, and through photos and video, it was clear for the prosecution to see that she was not in the van, in the area, etc. Dr. Potter, a University of Wisconsin physician, was remembered in tributes as a conscientious, caring physician with a warm personality. "Words cannot express our grief," said William Schwab, M.D., professor and interim chair at the Department of Family Medicine and Community Health, in a statement. In addition to being a wonderful family physician and a highly respected teacher, Beth was a dedicated leader at the Wingert Clinic and in our health system. She was wise, warm, and always supportive. There are so many in our department whose lives have been touched by Beth. Her loss will weigh heavily within us. He added, "Our sadness is immense. We will care for patients and attend to all of the other meaningful work of our department today and in the coming days because we must, and we will do so as we have been under the most extraordinary circumstances, and we will keep Beth's legacy in our hearts as we step forward. Amidst this pandemic, there is added pain in not being able to gather together directly to comfort each other, but we will take time to reflect and console in a way that sustains." Robin Carey was remembered in one tribute as a pillar in the Madison soccer community. At this time, there's absolutely no indication that the police plan to charge the couple's daughter with any criminal wrongdoing, but both suspects are being held on $1 million bail. Now, Khari Sanford attended his first court appearance via a Zoom meeting due to the safety measures in place with the virus, and that's interesting because we had just discussed, with court dates, court appearances coming upon us, many being postponed because of the way things are. Would they go to Zoom meetings, even for trials and things? I mean, it was something I was just bouncing off, but it's weird now that doing Zoom meetings. So who knows what's going to happen. Our world's changing a lot, and I don't understand why, if the couple rented an apartment for these two, that there would be such animosity or hate. I mean, to do it. Well, it looks like Khari's the one that, did the actual act of shooting the couple. Why? Why did he have that much hate, rage, whatever? It's not like they threw them out on the street. They rented them an apartment. They weren't being safe. Beth had obviously some immune system issues due to a medication she's taking, and could, get very sick or worse if she caught the virus. And so she was trying to be careful, and I'm sure trying to also make sure her daughter had a place to stay, and yet it wasn't good enough, apparently, and it's just crazy. I don't know if the couple had other children, if she was an only child. Don't know any of that. I don't know, any details about anything else yet, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, and it seems absolutely crazy. I think these parents did what they thought was right, and they went above and beyond and rented this apartment, and yet it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. I don't know. So when this Zoom meeting starts, they ask if Khari can hear them. Khari gives this thumbs up in that little, see that little opening right there? You can see his thumb go up. And, then the prosecutor speaks, and the prosecutor's William Brown up there in the corner, the upper corner. And he says that this, was a brutal crime. There were casings, there were numerous gunshots, happened at about 11:05 p.m. on the 30th of March. And there's overwhelming evidence, including that the van was circling the residence, which I take it to mean that Khari had went out, his accomplice LaRue was driving the van and circling the residence, and that both Beth and Robin were taken alive and then shot where they were found outside that campus with numerous .357 casings around them. Like I said, it was very close range, very brutal execution style, and that the suspect, Khari, was very, very concerned that one of them was alive. When he heard that Dr. Potter was still alive, he was very, very concerned about that. And let's see here, the Glock 357, they have evidence of the suspect Googling that, the exact weapon that was fired and used, and numerous photos closely associated with this. And so there's overwhelming evidence of surveillance camera footage. There's also the report that, yes, it's true, the parents had this Airbnb where Khari Sanford was staying with the couple's daughter, and they're asking for that $1 million bail for Khari because it's such a horrific crime, and there's so much, with the overwhelming evidence that, he did this apparently, even though he's presumed innocent, right? But they're saying we have overwhelming evidence here, okay? It's not something we're just, hoping with a lick and a prayer. We have overwhelming evidence, and they also want no contact on the victim's family, and that would include Miriam Potter Khari, who he was dating, the suspect Khari was dating, and the prosecution said that she had made statements that she put out there to protect Khari, and those statements would include what we talked about earlier, saying that he was with her the entire evening that her parents were murdered. The defense comes on and says they say, this is an ongoing case. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Khari is innocent. The state still has to conduct an investigation. They're saying their evidence is overwhelming, but we don't know that. They have a different story. They say this Khari was in the middle of his senior year. He was awaiting, letters from colleges that he had applied to, that he is the captain of the football team, that he has so much support in the community from leaders and, pillars of the community. They stress his ties with the community and how many community members have come out and pledged their support, vouched for Khari, and just said that this is not, just because the prosecution says something happened one way, it doesn't mean that it did. And they want the court to know that, just how many leaders in Madison want to offer all of that for Khari. And they say there is an insatiable amount of speculation and interest in this case, and they don't feel there should be any rush to judgment. So they're saying he's a great kid, he's got all this support. The prosecution's saying one thing, we are seeing it in a different way, and they did not want the bond to be that high. Well, then the judge starts talking, and he was very very well spoken, but spoke on a level that anyone could understand, was very thorough with what he said, and very fair, and said that yes, he's read the allegations, he understands what's going on, he understands the community support, and what's being said about Khari being a good kid, the captain of the football team, and all of that. But here we have a kidnapping of 2 people and a homicide of 2 people, and that is very significant. And so in order for the defense to present their evidence and the prosecution, there has to be a trial. And so that bond has to secure that Khari will be around for that trial. So, they said we have a preliminary hearing on April 16th at 9 a.m. And then the bail was set at the $1 million. So, yeah, I mean, it's a brutal crime from any way you look at it. It's absolutely brutal, right? And the evidence does seem overwhelming. If you're having photos, if you're having Google searches, if you're having, pings in the area, the van, we don't even know how much else they have. But yeah, I think he's exactly where he should be right now. And all of these community members, great, you're offering your support. Then get him that in the way of a defense team and see what happens at a trial. But yeah, I think it's absolutely the right decision. And just such a crazy, crazy case, right? Absolutely crazy. But I thank you guys for watching, and let me know what your thoughts are on this case, and if you've looked into it a little more yourself. I am going to be diving into this a little more to see about that community that is supporting Khari and what they are saying, in support of him. I want to look into this a little bit and just see where that takes us. This sounds like this is going to be a very interesting trial. Should it go to that, we'll see what happens. And I imagine, I don't think he's going to plead guilty to this, so I'm sure it will. Thanks again for watching. Please share this video out where you can. That would be wonderful if you could do that. And, just help our community grow, because it is such a great community and we love introducing others and getting to know others. And if you like this video, if you give it a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. Thanks so much. Stay safe, and I will talk to you very soon.